Well, hello, hello, and welcome to the Coaching Business Spotlight Show 2026. Happy New Year, everyone. I hope the new year is treating you well. I'm your host, Kat Connect, and I am excited to bring you the show day as we welcome in a new year and think about the visioning that you want to do, what you want to make happen in this year. Today's I'm gonna put the focus. I'm gonna go a couple different places. I want to put the focus on you. So this show is called Focus. Spotlight on a Coaching Business. We talk about business, but guess what? You are the one that runs that business. You are the one whose creative energy goes into that business. You are the one. So we're gonna put our focus on you and visioning. I have a couple stories I'm gonna tell. And there was one other thing that I wanted to remember. Oh, a workshop. I wanted to remember this. I just took a walk. I was thinking about the upcoming workshop and the last show. So, two things. The workshop that's coming up on January 12th, 11 a.m. Pacific time. I walk people in that workshop through some really great exercises. I went over some of them on on the podcast and the last podcast about we look at positive things you have, look at your goals. It's really fun to do it in community. This is something I really like doing together. I've been doing visioning workshops for probably 20 years and because I like doing it with other people. So I hope you can join us for that. It's free. It's fun. And the other piece I wanted to remember, I'm going to start the storytelling now where you're focused on you, but this is about the last podcast. After that podcast went out or was over, I thought, I told the story about how I had set an amount of money and by January I had it. And I realized I had actually had that goal the year before as well. This is going to lead into my first story. So this happened when I was doing the year in review. I've told you how important that is. I was looking at the year in review and the money hadn't happened the way I wanted. And I started seeing how the money had happened and things that I really liked, things that I wanted to move forward with. I got very inspired. And the goal, that money goal, when I really looked at it, I felt it. I felt, oh, this is what I want. This feels right. It feels like I actually have the feeling like, I think this is going to come true. This one's going to happen. Again, I don't put a timeline, even though we do this by the year, I don't put a timeline on my visions. I imagine things, I put, years out, 5 years, but in reality, I know things take the time they take. So that was one. It happened in January. It did happen. When I got the feeling, I kept looking at it and working towards it. So that one took a little over a year to happen. Some goals I've had have taken as long as 20 years. This is really the truth. But here's one. Again, most visions I do believe happen over time and they grow and they evolve. This is why I call my book and my course Evolve Your Coaching Business. I really love that there's an evolution. So last year, and actually this was actually back in December of 2024. I was visiting with my sister. So we're going to look at the personal here. This is a personal story, as is the next story I'm going to tell. I want you to be thinking about personal things you want to put on your vision. You, the creator, what do you want in your life that's personal about you? My sister Gretchen and I do a visioning process every year. I do my visualization, a lot of the things that my 10 steps, we do most of those 10 steps. And we were making the vision board, and we bought these really fun journals. And we cut out the pictures and created what we wanted in our vision in this book. And we were talking about it, and we were in a really good space. One of the things she and I have been working on for maybe intentionally, probably, I don't even know how many years we've been working on it here and there and saying, we really want to at least part of the year live near each other. We want to have the experience of being in relationship where we can hang out and then go to our own houses. We had that once on vacation. We've had it a couple of times on vacation. Yeah. And it was really, really fun. And we've tried it as she's come to visit me here in Ojai. She's stayed at hotels. She's rented, the Airbnb. We've tried things, but nothing's really worked. And so this year, this December 24, as we're looking at it and we're putting the pictures down and we're talking about it again, I got a feeling. And I'm telling this story because I'm encouraging you to tune in to your feelings when you're making your vision for the new year. Because I believe we have very highly tuned intuition, or there could be spiritual guidance, if that's something you believe in, that lets us know, oh, this is a good one. Well, I got that feeling with this, and I put this picture on. I don't have it right here. I put a picture on and I talked about how I just really wanted us to, have that so that we had a family experience where we had a separate unit that she was staying in and we could enjoy each other. And it was even bigger than that in this vision. I'm like, well, I want that like for my whole family. So my son his family can come from Alabama and the kids can come up from LA and little Margot can come play. And Nathan and Laurel and friends and Corinne and Janet. And I just started imagining having a place where I had a space where people could stay with me, and it really expanded. So I had the vision about my sister Gretchen, but it was even beyond that. I started really getting a very strong feeling. Oh, wow, this is something, I talked about experiences. This is an experience that would be great for me. Now, having put that out there many times, and then I go looking for a place, and where I live, it's like they're way too expensive or can't, they're too run down, or I have never been able to find a place that I could have my own space for somebody to actually come and stay and be really comfortable for a long period of time or a short period of time, but in their own space. The very next day, I took my sister to the airport and dropped her off. And I'm looking in the newspaper and I see there's an open house. And I saw the main thing I saw about this open house was that it was a condo, like I lived in a condo, and the price was around about what I was hoping my place was worth. And I wanted to check it out. I'm like, I want to see, what is this condo? Because it seems like mine's nicer because mine's downtown and mine's more fixed up than the pictures I saw were. But I wanted to see. So it just so happened that Curtis and I were driving right by where the open house was on our way to brunch that Sunday. And I said, why don't we stop in? I'd really like to see. Let me get a picture of what houses are worth. That one that's kind of like ours, like, it has some similarities. So he begrudgingly stopped and he wanted to just stay in the car. But I said, no, I'd like you to come in. We're going out to brunch. Let's be social here. So we went in to the house. We got out of the car before we even go into the house. I notice at this condo, the main condo is on the second floor. And on the first floor, there's this little sign that says that the number of the house is upstairs. But there's a door right here and it's open because it's an open house. And I walk in and I saw it, the vision I'd had, a separate unit. And the real estate agent was telling me it's a totally separate unit. It's got its own utilities. It's not connected to the main house. It's a legal unit. You can do whatever you want with it. And I just had this feeling. We looked at the rest of the house, and there were so many things we loved. This is part of me and how visioning can work. You get guided to something, and oh my gosh, here's an office, a big office that I'm sitting in right now with a place where my podcast can sit permanently, and it could be an extra guest room if I need it. There was a garage for Curtis. There was this wonderful bedroom with an ensuite bathroom. There was an office for Curtis, who he has been not having his own office for 8-9 years. He either works in the kitchen or he has an outside office. He hasn't had an office in our house. So many things just were clicking for me and for us. Well, this was another part of this visioning. I had had a piece of this vision, but when you think about your personal visions, other people might be involved in them. And this one was one Curtis had visions about. He wanted his own office. The garage was like his dream come true. What he's been talking about, having a garage like this. Again, for about as long as I've been talking about Gretchen and I living close, he just wanted it so badly to have a space for his tools and to do things and to hang things and store things. So we put an offer on the house. Our offer was accepted. We went through many challenges selling our house because we had to sell the house we were in. Challenges that were, some of them were financially really hard. We ended up with not making as much money as we had intended to because things like our solar panel got mucked things up and we ended up having to buy our solar panel outright. There were some unexpected things. And I put this into the story because I want you to know. So it seems magical. It did seem magical. I do believe in magic, but even with magic, challenges come. What helped me was that vision book that I had. I kept getting the vision book out and connecting with the experience I really wanted to have. As we faced the challenges and had to make decisions on the spot, we had to make them, real estate agents calling, banks calling, time's ticking. We have to make the people who put the offer in on our house who are buying it, they want to know, what are we going to do with the solar? We had to make choices. And that vision pulled me through because I kept feeling it. That's what I want. That's the experience. I want my family and friends to be able to stay with me in a separate place. And it means a lot to me. I have family and friends that live a lot of different places. And that just the thought that I could invite them to stay and be close and have some experiences with them was delightful, really delightful. So I overcame the challenges. And I want to say, and it's all been worthwhile. It's been so amazing. The experience continues to expand. Again, other challenges. I lost my focus on my business for a few months with the moving and the house, and then I injured myself. Business took a dip, as it does if I lose my attention and focus. I had to face that. So, making a vision come true includes magic, something that can happen out of the blue like that, where something is so right that you go, and my vision said so. You go for it. It happens. It's cool. But then the challenges come. And I want you, as you're heading into this new year and creating your vision, to take that into account so that when they come, you don't get too discouraged or give up or think, oh, well, my vision's no good. Oh, this reminds me of another story I'm going to tell now because it's so, so easy to do. So, having a compelling vision is a really great way to create what you want in your life and move through the challenges. Personal story number 2. So, I have 3 stories. A client I worked with a long time ago, she was creating a vision board. It was for her personal life. She wanted a romantic partner, and she really, really wanted this. She said we worked together for a while on it, and she got into a great place, worked through a lot of things, let go of things. It felt like it was a really good time. I felt something really special with this visioning. She made her vision board. I was like, oh, I just feel something's going to happen with this because everything, I just could, again, I had a feeling as her coach. She comes back to me the next session. She's like, one of the action pieces she had taken was to put her profile on a dating site. And she was going to put her profile on a dating site with her relationship values because those were on her vision board. And she was going to talk about the vision she had for her romantic relationship, be honest about it, transparent. She came to the session. She said, not one single person contacted her. And this woman was and is a very attractive woman. And she's like, that's never happened to me. Usually I get all kinds of, get people interested. Doesn't work out, but I get people interested anyway. I was really flummoxed. I was like, what is up with this? Because it feels so right. So we did a little more work around the vision, kind of doubled down on it. What was it she really wanted? And she came to something that there had been this big doubt in her. She still had a little fear that she was going to put herself out there and be really vulnerable and get hurt. So we worked that through in coaching. Kind of like, well, that's part of the process. There is a challenge that can come when we put ourselves out there and we're vulnerable. I don't know how she contacted me. I think she sent me a text maybe or an email or something, or maybe she just called me right up and she's like, Kat, you're not going to believe this, But when I went home from that session, I realized I had not turned on that people could contact me on the dating app. She didn't have it on. Nobody could contact her. So this is another piece in visioning. You might still have blocks when you put your vision up, when you speak it, when you write your vision story. Look for those blocks. They might still be there. It's really good to keep clearing things out as you take action. So she took action, nothing happened. And so she had to clear that block out. And what happened next, this is a true story, as I often say. One of the very first people to contact her, she really liked, and he liked what she'd written. He liked her relationship values. He liked her vision. He shared the vision she had for a good relationship. They went out on a date. They went out on another date. And about a year or so later, they got married in Iceland. Oh man, beautiful wedding. They now have two beautiful girls. And I just love thinking of that story, that whole piece. So, you can put out a vision, it can feel right. And so, with story number one, there can be a challenge that you have to face, like big challenge to make that a reality. Number two, even when you put your vision out and it feels good, there might be some blocks you want to look at because something might still be in the way. Here's story number three. It's personal, but it's around work. And this is a story about my husband, Curtis. So he had a pretty good position. He was working for an organization in a therapy role. And he had originally liked the job, but it had gotten to a point where he did not like it anymore. I'll just put that, I was putting it mildly. He just was really, it was wearing him down. And he wanted to quit his job. Well, this is a great idea. I'm encouraging him to do it, but we counted on his income to pay the rent at the time. And I was really not interested in going broke. So we did visioning. That year, we went to a little cottage up in Topanga Canyon. I remember it so well. We had a little fireplace and we visioned for him to get a new position. So, and part of it, we were thinking about he wanted to get his coaching business restarted. He was working with me some in my coaching business, but he'd let a lot of his coaching go. He wanted to bring that back. And so we put the vision on the vision board and we started working it. And one of the things we did, so there's writing a vision story. We did something that's called scripting. I'm just going to put this in here. It's a vision tool that I really love. And how scripting works is you just tell a story out of the blue in the moment about how you imagine something happening. It's imagining. So he started talking about this position he wanted. And he would imagine, I remember it still because we really got into it. Again, it was about the experience he wanted to have. He imagined being respected for the gifts that he had as a therapist. He imagined there would be a team working together towards a common goal. He imagined he would lead groups and he would also do individuals. He imagined he would get paid really well. And he imagined that it would leave him time to restart and build his coaching business at the same time. So he was imagining it was part-time. They were paying him really well. There were many times during this year that I remember where he lost hope. We walked a hill at the time and he would be talking about it. And he would get so discouraged because nothing had happened. There was no outward signs. He was taking the action, though. I want to tell you. So we were both we were taking the action around our money, we were really getting our money in order and seeing how much money did he need to make for us to be able to get by once he quit his job. He set a date for quitting his job. He looked into getting Social Security. That was one of the actions that he took. He started getting more clients. So even though he still had a full-time job, he started building his coaching business. And we kept doing the scripting and we kept looking at the vision. And we got to a place. This is what I'm realizing, why I'm telling these stories to you, where he really felt it. He kind of got through all of the resistance because that's never going to happen. How could I make that much money working part-time? I've never had a job where I felt that respected and had so much fun working for another organization. He got to a point where it's like something shifted in him, where he started getting excited about the possibility. And I'm remembering, even as I tell this story, at the same time, he did some things again to get his coaching. He got started getting new clients and really getting engaged with having a part-time coaching business, which he was loving. The focus was on himself, though. That's the point I'm making in this podcast. There was the money, there was the work, there was building his business, but much of this visioning was about how he wanted to be in the world, the impact he wanted to have, how he wanted to feel about himself, right? Like what he wanted to be experiencing as a person, as a man, not just in a job, in a role, right? A Coactive Institute, we say focus on the whole person. This is his whole person. And he had had this feeling that there was a way that he had not fully invested himself in his work. And he really wanted to have that full expression of himself. And he wanted some more downtime. So again, some of it building the new coaching business, but he really wanted, part of it was relaxing, having more space, having more time to visit his kids. So we included personal elements, and it was almost 100%. I felt like at one point, as we were getting close to when he was going to quit, focused on him as a person, how he really wanted to be. So, we have the being in coaching. So when you're creating your vision this year, think about how you want to be, who you want to be. What are those ways? Do you want to be bold? Do you want to be crazy? Do you want to be silly? Do you want to have fun? Do you want to be wise? Include who you want to be, how you want to be. So for me, it was about, I wanted to be in deeper relationships with people I loved. I wanted to be hosting. That was another thing I haven't really even thought about. I love hosting. So you want to think about the being pieces. I'm going to get to the end of the story, so I'm going to put a period on it and then kind of come back and round it up. So here's where the magic happens. When you're in action, when you're really believing your vision can become a reality, you've done the work and it's something clicked. So something had clicked. I felt it. So you might want to be paying attention when you feel those clicks of your vision. And the action I decided I was going to take, I was just going to tell everybody I knew that Curtis was looking for a new position. That's just what I was going to do. I know we knew quite a few people. You never know when somebody's going to know somebody. So I just started telling people. And I remember I had an encounter with a woman who was in my coaching circle. She's a dear friend of mine. And she was a friend at the time, but she was also in my coaching circle. And everything in a coaching circle is confidential. So in the coaching circle, she had told me that she was applying for a new position at a place that was opening up in Ventura where we lived. And they were hiring therapists. And she was looking for a job doing her art and bringing her coaching and artwork together. So she'd found out about the place. She was applying for the job. And I just wanted to tell her that Curtis was looking for a job too, but I couldn't do it because I just couldn't cross that boundary of confidentiality. So I trusted, I waited, and it didn't take long. A couple of days later, after this our alchemy circle call, I ran into her at the grocery store and she said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to go for the job. They're having a job fair and I'm going to go on Friday to find out if there's a possibility." I'm like, "Okay, we're not in confidentiality here. I can tell her. Curtis is looking for a job too." She said, "Well, I think Curtis should come with me." So the two of them went to this job fair. They talked to the person who was running it. And they each got called in for an interview. And my friend Jody got the job. And this was another piece. So Curtis hadn't heard anything. He put a pretty big price tag out on his services because he knew how much money he wanted to make. And he knew it was just a part-time job. So he kind of asked for more than he had his usual rate. But he felt good about it because he'd done this visioning. He had already done the visioning to realize this was his value. This was what he was bringing to the table. These were his leadership skills. So we had to work through a little more doubt because he wasn't hearing and wasn't hearing. And it was like 2 weeks after Jody had heard about her job that he got the call from the woman who'd done the interview. And she said, "Yeah, you got the job." And I remember he's like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "Yeah, yeah. So everything works out. We'll pay you the rate that you asked. And it's like 20 hours a week." And the amount of money that it was was dead on. It was like that was the amount of money he needed to quit his full-time job and be able to bring in some extra income or some income with his coaching business and have this part-time job. And it became true. And this happened. We started the visioning. So we'd been working on it. I want to layer that in again as we're wrapping this up. So it had been a while that he had known that he wasn't happy with this job. And we've been talking about ways that he might earn money a different way. So a lot of times visioning, again, my visioning process builds on itself. You always want to let things go, carry the positive through from last year. You want to have a good foundation. And this was the right time because sometimes you have to grow into things. You have to face some blocks that you have inside of you. So we started this visioning. It was our New Year's visioning. And he started that new job in May of that year. It was pretty great. And he loved that job as long as he had it. The organization ended up closing that location. I think it was probably 3 or 4 years that he had that gig. Loved it. All the things that he had thought of. I mean, he would come home from work sometimes and he'd tell me a story. I'm like, that was in your vision. That was exactly what you imagined when you were scripting things. Because he was all those things. He was valued. He was having fun. He had a team. He was having the impact he really wanted to have personally. I want you to take that away from this podcast. Think about, as you're thinking about the vision for your business, your coaching business this year, what are some personal experiences you really want to have that are going to be nourishing for you, for your heart, for your soul, for your body, for your spirit? Think about what is the impact you want to have? What difference do you want to make in this world? Maybe something that has nothing to do with your business, but some whole other element that just feels appealing and like, oh, your spirit is like, yes, I think that would be fun. That would kind of give me something else in my life that might feel like it's missing or you've let it go for a while. So that's where I'm going to leave this. I hope you will join me January 15th at 11 a.m. Pacific time. You can go to souldrivensuccess.com. You can sign up there. You can shoot me an email. I'm imagining there are a lot of different ways you can find out how to sign up for this workshop if you have not already. If you are in my community, it's real easy because we have an events tab. So you join my community, and if you can join my community on my website for free, and you'll come in and you'll see the events tab. Because if you sign up for the workshop, you will get the pre-work that comes with that, which is really fun. I'm not exactly remembering it all, but I know we do some pre-work so that by the time you hit that workshop, you're ready to really dive down deeper with a group of fabulous people. All righty. So happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, the person who's sitting in your seat. Give yourself a great big hug and some yay from me. And I look forward to a great new year and spending it with you. Thank you so much for listening. And please join me next time.